Matthew, it's so nice to have you here in beautiful Winnipeg. How long ago did you move back from BC?
Not too long ago, actually. I recently moved back this past February.
You were out there for the Vancouver Film School. Was that your initial reasoning for moving out?
Yeah, so I first moved out to BC in October 2017 because I've heard a combination of a couple of things. One, Vancouver Film School seemed really appealing, and the second reason is I kind of wanted to see what was out there. I love Winnipeg. It's amazing. Love the people, but I just want to see what was out there.
Was it everything you could ever expect?
That and more. It was a crazy 12 months. There's a lot going on, but it was very beneficial, and I felt that I feel more prepared going into the film industry and what I want to do in my career after that 12 months of fun.
And you had done some stuff before actually moving out there, right? You had already been directing movies and little short films and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's right. I first got into filmmaking when I was just like a dumb kid, dumb teenager in high school, where there was a video production class that seemed very enticing, and all my friends took it. So I'm like, oh, okay, this seems cool. And through there, made a ton of not so great films or not so great videos, but it's okay. High school, still learning. And through there, I really liked how you can send a message across or essentially have your voice be heard in a sense. And from there, that's where my love for filmmaking grew from. So after high school, I was still kind of trying to figure out what I wanted to do, if I really want to go that film route or maybe use the application somewhere else. But I did decide to go the University of Winnipeg because I heard that they had a pretty decent film and theater program. I was there more for the film aspect, and from there, took some really good classes, learned some stuff, which was nice, and ended up getting a degree there. So that's something to my name. But during the the beginning of my last year, ending of my third last year there, I heard about the school. I heard about how much business there was out there in Vancouver. So I wanted to see what was out there, and through university, that's where my love for filmmaking really grew. So again, made even more terrible projects to get more experience and to grow and love filmmaking more.
So, why the directing side of things?
I It kind of roots back to why I kind of first fell in love with filmmaking back in high school is being able to send a message or be able to just say anything, and if people like your film, then they will listen to what you have to say. And essentially, being the director, you're for for filmmaking or feature filmmaking mostly, you're the creative leader of the project. So taking intellectual property or a story and telling it your own way, or if you have a message, being able to tell through that way. That's what I really like about the directing role.
And that's not easy to do. I mean, to be able to take somebody's vision, if it's not your own, and be able to show it to others. How do you piece it all together? How do you make that happen?
Good question. um, I guess answer that question, it was kind of a process. A lot of it was trial and error. Uh, even though I kind of make fun of myself for making a ton of terrible videos and poorly made films in my high school and university years, those were kind of a necessary evil to essentially grow as an artist and grow as a filmmaker. And after being able to get something that's half decent, or people that will say, "Oh, that was neat," be willing to sit there and watch it. It kind of goes through the process of, okay, I made something that I like or that I think is at least somewhat decent, and people will start watching it. And being able to sit there, let the film play, people critique it or like it or hate it or whatever is its own beast to encounter.
Is that not nerve wracking?
Oh, definitely. So partway through the year, they started implementing or teaching us what test screenings are. So during the stages of the filmmaking process on your project, if you feel that your project is going in the right direction, that's where you invite some people or bring in a select audience or various demographics to go in and watch your film and see, and after they watch the film or episodic or whatever the project is, you give them a piece of paper with some questions like, hey, is the film good? Or how's the acting? Or did you find this funny? Or did you find this scary? A variety of questions that way.
And was it two different projects that you did throughout your experience there where you actually had the test screenings, or was it more than that?
For myself, I did the test screening trial by fire twice through that program. Both times I was fortunate enough to be in the director's seat, so I was able to get more experience or more, I guess, used to being critiqued that way.
And I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but both films that you worked on, short films, they've got quite a bit of recognition, right?
That's partially correct. There was like the two that were test screened. One of them was a episodic project, something that I currently don't have much control on for festival distribution. But my main final horror film project from VFS, it's called 30th Night right now. That's currently doing fairly decent on its festival circuit. It's winning a few awards. One of the bigger festivals it got into was the Portland Horror Film Festival.
They wrote quite the review on it.
Yes, they did. Yeah, Nightmarish Conjuring, I believe, was the publication that wrote a review on it. And I was like, we still have like this group chat going, and my producer's like, oh, check this out, and Red is like, oh, someone actually likes this.
And I mean, for a new student to put out this project and be getting reviews like that, that's got to feel good and make you know that you're doing something right.
Yeah, that really was the nudge in the right direction. Like, again, self-inflicting humor about my past works. It's good to know that, like, after developing a huge list of what not to do, it's good to know that lessons that I learned in high school and college and all the terribleness of those projects is actually helping me create much better and more higher quality projects such as 30th Night.
Even as far as the special effects goes, I know that's not something you work directly with, but you're still telling people what needs to be done. And that review in particular was talking about how they couldn't believe how you guys made this werewolf or this person transform into this werewolf so well.
Yeah, so a lot of that was collaboration. Like, I mean, coming down to filmmaking is a very collaborative work environment. So even though like I planned out the shots, had to be very smart as to what I can show, what I can't show, especially when it comes to horror filmmaking, because a valuable lesson that I learned, especially for filming monsters, is the longer you look at a monster, the dumber it becomes.
Okay.
So taking that into consideration, I had to plan out, okay, what parts of the body can I show? How much of the werewolf can I show to still entice that fear? Enough so people know it's a werewolf, but not too much to know it's like, oh, it's a tall 6'9" man in a costume. But a lot of the effects is, hands down, couldn't have done it with my good friend and colleague Nicole Dreher, who's a Vancouver-based makeup and special effects artist. So she was the one that was responsible for bringing that monster to life.
And that monster, the human, is a woman, right? Was that always the case, or was that a directorial choice to go with a woman lead actor?
There's a bit of brainstorming, but it was when I pitched the concept, I was thinking more of like, okay, werewolf in a prison. That's something. Even though werewolves aren't, it's hard to be original with that concept because there's so many media and films and what have you about werewolves. So my big thing was, okay, let's do it in a prison because that's kind of unique, that's different, that could be terrifying. We'll see. And it was collaboration with the writers, and one of the writers, he was like, what if we did this in a female prison? Because we barely see any female werewolves. Like I I know that there's probably some out there, but I can't think.
Can't think of any.
Yeah, think of any off the top of my head. I'm sure there are if we did our research. But
We'll have to Google that later.
but yeah, so it was from there. It was like, okay, this is a unique unique angle to go off of, and with that, it was able to take like a female prisoner and use one of our actors that we had on board who was like this huge tall man. So like the contrast between human and werewolf was even greater. So there was just a lot of benefits for having a female lead in this
Yeah,
role.
that's crazy clever. And it's honestly, it's good timing for it as well, right? Because that's the way the film industry is going, is they're trying to find stronger lead roles for actresses. And I don't think you can get much stronger than a werewolf. So explain this competition to us.
This competition is something that the Gimli Film Festival hosts. It's a emerging filmmaker competition that the RBC, courtesy of the RBC Bank, that you can apply for it. Top 5 finalists are selected to be able to attend the festival, courtesy of the film festival, courtesy of Gimli Film Festival, to have the opportunity to do a 3-minute live pitch to present your project in front of a live audience and in front of a jury, with a 5-minute Q&A following afterwards.
Isn't that terrifying?
Oh yeah, it was. Yeah, but the reward is substantial. It was essentially what you got out of it was $10,000 budget towards your next short film, with an additional $5,000 in services from William F. White's, and as well as a membership to On Screen Manitoba. I currently came up and wrote a short 5-minute horror about overcoming mental illness called First Session. So that project I pitched for the RBC competition, and from there the first round of juries thought the project was good enough to be top 5 finalist, and then it was up to me for myself to come to the festival and be able to present it, tell them what the story's about, why it should be made, and why I'm the right person to make it.
So it's all you. You came up with the idea, you're pitching the idea, and now here you are with this $10,000 ready to make it a reality.
Oh yeah, it's exhilarating times.
So I know that part of the money goes towards once you have rewritten your pitch, is that right? And then you have to rewrite a script as well?
After the script is finalized, you get a quarter of the 10,000, so 2,500. Once you reach the first day of principal photography or first day of filming for non-film people, is you get another quarter of the budget, so another 2,500. You get another quarter once you're wrapped on the project, like once you finish filming, and you get the last quarter of the project once the project is done, submitted to the sponsors in the festival.
And then the film that you come up with, it's premiered in next year's Gimli Festival, right?
Yeah, that is correct. So basically what they did this year for the pitching was they premiered last year's winner before myself and 4 other lucky panelists, or not panelists, finalists came up and pitched. So it'll be the same thing next year, except it'll be premiering my film, and then the next victims, the finalists, will get to pitch.
That's so cool. I can't even imagine what that would be like to go through that entire process. Do you already have a crew in mind, and will you be filming in Winnipeg, or are you going back to BC?
That was a very good question. Something I've been contemplating myself for a bit. Like I was tempted to go back out here, but I want to give Winnipeg a chance. There are a couple of people that I've gotten in contact with since winning this grant, and chances are I'll most likely be filming here. So I'm excited to work with local talents once again to help bring this project to life.
And how long do you have to create it? A full year?
Yeah, so basically I have till next Gimli Film Festival. So I have some time, but I don't want to slack off. Yeah.
It's in reality, a year is not a long time to complete a project like this.
Yeah, like if this was a feature film, I'd be freaking out right now.
You would not be here doing the interview. You'd be working your butt off. So what's the next step for you? What needs to be done before you can get this really on the go?
The next steps for this project is to get my script finalized. So right now I'm currently on the second draft of it. I believe it's coming close to it. So hopefully we get core of the budget soon. And to secure the key crew, So I'm looking into getting a producer first and foremost, just to help with to help me organize and get everything rolling, getting this together, and securing other necessary key roles like the cinematographer, the editor, production designer, the AD especially. So those are kind of my initial steps that I would need to take or need to complete before anything else can happen for this project.
That's so crazy to wrap your head around, to see how much work goes into it and each little stepping stone that eventually comes together to create an award-winning film. And I think that you'll do it. I've only heard great things so far, and I expect to hear much more from you. I have one more question that I try to ask each of my guests. It's about your socks. I think socks tell a lot about a person, and I'd like to know what type of socks you wear.
Thin white socks
Always?
that are, I mean, whatever I have in the drawers, I mean, it's, I'm not really picky with them. I just wear whatever. But if I have to pick, if there can only be one type of socks that exists in the world, I would prefer thin white socks because it's just easy. Doesn't you don't really feel them, and it's great.
All right, good to know. Thank you very much, Matt. I really appreciate your time.
Yeah, thank you for having me here today.